What up, y'all? So BstMstR and Panik did a hangout recently talking about the third Joker's card, the missing link. There were conversations and discussions prior to them doing that hangout about doing a hangout, and I told the fuckers I wanted to be a part of it. That wasn't exactly what was said, but more or less that was what was said. And the bastards went and did that shit without me. They was all like,
"Yo, man, DCFAYGOGUY wants to do a hangout about the third Joker's card."
Man, I don't want to do a fucking hangout with DCFAYGOGUY. Fuck that.
"I know, man. I feel exactly the same fucking way, dude. Fuck that dude."
"I know. Why don't we just do one without him? Fuck that guy, right?"
well, fine then. I'll just do it by myself. I didn't want to be a part of that shit anyways, okay? God. Alright, so anyways, over the course of this last weekend, the news, which is now old news, of the missing link was announced, the third Joker's card. And of course there's a lot of hate and all that good shit like that. So we got an image, we got a release date. What we didn't get was a story. So let's let the speculations begin. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and drop my 2 cents, my thoughts, my feelings, everything like that on the unveiling of the missing link. My thoughts on the image and the name. So let's roll the intro real quick. It's not my 2 cents without that coin drop.
My 2 cents, motherfucker.
So anyway, my first thoughts on the missing link when I saw the image of it is I was pretty much with like everybody else. It was different. I was kind of like, it kind of has to grow on me. The death pop was the exact same way, but like my fiance was telling me the other night after she saw it, the thing about the new Joker cards when they reveal them like this is sometimes they have to sink in. Like in this moment right now, all we know is the name and all we know is the face. We don't know the story yet. She said when she first seen the death pop and heard the name Mighty Death Pop, she was kind of like, it had to sink in. But she said after she listened to the album and she had a story, a meaning behind the Mighty Death Pop, it gave a whole new perspective. She had a new love and enjoyment for the Mighty Death Pop as far as the image goes and the name, because she understood what its story was. And this is no different. That's kind of how I feel. I first seen it and I was kind of like, this is different looking. They have kind of a pre-form of the missing link, because you've got the lost and you've got the found. Like BstMstR said, it's the same entity, but it's different. It's something they haven't done, you know what I mean? In some ways, they did with Mighty Death Pop, because you have the original face, and then you have like the popped version of him. But basically, there isn't like a second face to the Mighty Death Pop like there is this. We got, two faces. We've got the lost and we've got the found. So I think it was cool how they did something different. I feel a lot of people that are, jumping the gun on, oh, it looks gay, or who are just like, it's different. I think, like my fiance said, once the album actually comes out, once there's a story behind it, I think it will make it more meaningful. Everybody will have a newfound joy for it once they know the story, once they hear the album. So that's kind of how I felt. It was different. I think it's cool that they went with this kind of a direction. We're getting away from the whole popping and the booming and the explosions and that shit. So I'm glad they kind of went in this direction. So my thoughts were I was excited. And I was excited mainly for that fucking release date, because when they announced Death Pop, we sat on that shit for 2 years before it ever dropped. Well, almost 2 years before it ever dropped. You know what I mean? But I'm not totally bitching about that, because they did the Smothered, Covered, and Chunked, the Freaky Tales, and the Extra Pop Emporium. So, we got 3 extra albums on top of the main album. Plus, let's not forget the American Psycho Tour was a huge tour that they went on, and that was definitely a much-needed tour. I've always wanted to see ICP and Twisted go on a tour. They've done it in the past, but since I've had the money as a juggalo, as an adult who's been able to go to concerts and everything like that, I had never seen a Twisted and ICP tour. It was always ICP or Twisted going on tour. And Twisted never came to Indiana. They were always Ohio or fucking Illinois. So that was dope to see. But that's my thoughts on the missing link. It was different. The imagery was very different. But I feel like it'll grow on everybody once they hear the album and once we have a story to put to it. So let's go ahead and jump into speculations now on what we think it could be about, our first kind of interpretations of what the missing link is. And for me, I think what the missing link is going to be is that part of somebody that is lost. They are you know what I mean? Let me gather my thoughts together here for a second. You know, when you think of like cavemen or the people having like animalistic kind of thoughts or whatever, I think the lost missing link is just kind of people who haven't been enlightened yet. The kind of lost in society, lost in the madness. Like they haven't been enlightened yet. They haven't seen the true meaning behind themselves or whatever like that. And then obviously that's what found would be somebody who's, not to turn this into something religious, you know, you know what I mean? Because I'm very anti-religious. But basically somebody who would have been spiritually enlightened, or somebody who would have found God, you know what I mean? You have a savage form of yourself, and I can see where that would maybe be the mask, you know, you're just fucking, you're Hannibal crazy, and then you're enlightened, so you're found. You found your spiritual enlightenment, you found the light, I'm not going to say it, but you know what you're thinking. God. You know what I mean? It's found. You found yourself. You found the righteous path. That's what I think. You're lost in the darkness or lost in the madness, and then you're found. And I think that's maybe what the two different ones are going to be. Because when you think of the missing link, you think of like the kind of the Bigfoot like shit. Just that animalistic point of view of somebody who haven't found the right path. To me, that is a pretty good assumption or speculation of what it could be. By no means is that right. That's just what I feel. That's what I think. Who knows what it will be. I am definitely amped as fuck for it. To TJ and Panik, I had to think there for a second. I wanted to say his real name, and I don't know if he wants that out there. But to Panik and BstMstR, fuck you guys for not including me. Just kidding. And so, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That's what I feel about the missing link. I'm excited. You should be excited. And if you don't like it, fuck off. Nobody cares what you think. Later.